Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm trying to set this thing properly so that it's good for you guys. Hi. Okay, I don't want to date this video, but you know what? It's a beautiful day. Happy Sunday, whatever. So today I'm here to talk about something going through my timeline. I realized that I think that was sometime last month or in January. I had actually in January I had promised that I was going to make a video addressing my singles in the world, the single people on my page, the single people who are asking questions and trying to know what to do, for them to move forward in terms of finding the right partner to get married to. So today I have come up with about 5 things that I want to share with you about what you need to be sure of before you get yourself committed in marriage. What you need to be sure of. So now, one of the main things that I want to talk about as my first point is, and hey, if in this video, if you want to come into this video, if you want to say something, you want to contribute, or you want to ask a question, you just want to be part of the video, I believe if you click, there's a place where you can click that I'll be able to add you onto the video. I don't know, you can try that, it should work. So I want to talk to you guys, the things that you need to know before you get married. The first thing you need to know is this: marriage is for life. You need to understand what is marriage before you even begin to get into it, because now everything that you're seeing on social media is all about the glitz, the glam, the white dresses, the wedding gifts you're gonna get, the beautiful day, all the dances, you're gonna choreograph dances with the bridesmaid and your wedding party. That's what most people are looking at now when they're thinking about marriage. But you need to understand, you need to ask yourself, what are the implications of marriage? When you marry someone, what does that mean for your destiny? What does that mean for your purpose? What does that mean for the complete direction of your life? Because you need to understand, whether you're a man or you're a woman, the person that you choose to partner with can affect your life in ways that you can't even imagine right now. The person you choose to partner with can determine even your eternity, can determine whether you go to heaven or hell. The person you partner yourself with can determine if you are going to fulfill your purpose in life or not. So many people have partnered with people that have taken them out, that have killed them, that have caused them to be mentally derailed. Some of them, they got married, and because of that marriage, they found themselves, in the psychiatric home. So many people have found themselves because they got married. The person that they were joined to made them do things they were not supposed to do. They ended up in prison, and now because of one relationship that was not properly calculated, they found themselves in where they're not supposed to be. So yes, who you get married to matters a lot. If you notice, I was thinking about this, and there was the people in the book of Daniel, when Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, and when God came through for Daniel, got saved. The lions didn't kill him. When the king asked for the people who suggested that they put Daniel in the den, the king said, bring those people, not just them. Bring them with all their family, their husbands, their wives and their children. And because of what one man did, the woman who was partnered with him, her life was cut short. So he committed a crime or deceit, but then he was thrown into the lion's den, his wife and his children. Now that was the end of it. So who you marry matters. So ask yourself, when I get married to this person that I'm chasing or that I'm dreaming about, what is going to happen to my destiny? What is going to happen to the call or the purposes of God for my life? Are we going to be able to work together? Is this going to be a union that is going to advance the kingdom? Because you need to understand that marriage is not just about you. Marriage is not just about what you want at a certain point in your life because you're a certain age. Okay, now it's time for us to get married. If you understand the concept of marriage from the very beginning, marriage is kingdom strategy to expand or to bring about the influence of God into a territory, into the world. So God uses marriage as a strategy to be able to do that, because when we have kingdom marriages, we're able to raise kingdom children with kingdom principles who can go out into the society and begin to display this kingdom lifestyle and principles. And these are the people who will end up becoming your governors, your mayors, the doctors and all of that. So this is a kingdom strategy to bring kingdom come on the earth. And that's why the devil is working so hard to pollute, to perverse marriage. And understand this, because I don't know who's watching this or who is going to watch this. I'm a Christian, and when I'm talking about marriage, I'm referring to the original plan of God, which is one man and one woman, period. Okay? Point blank, period. Because I know, later in the future, you all are going to say that I'm whatever, but yeah. That's what it is. So always ask yourself, what is the implication of marriage? When I marry this person, how is it going to affect my destiny, my purpose? And that's why before you get married, you have to know what your purpose is. Who are you? What has God called you to be? Where has God called you to be? You need to sort these things out. Getting married is not the problem. Getting married is not the big goal. Now, what is the goal is to ensure that you are self-aware. And I don't mean self-aware in the secular terms. I mean self-aware in the way that you know who you are in God. You have come to the point where you know where you're going, you know your destiny, you know your purpose and all of that good stuff. And when you're secure in that self that you are, now that will determine the kind of partner that you pick. Or else, if you don't know these things in advance, you're going to pick a partner who, he's handsome or she's beautiful, they make me happy, they make me laugh, they give me butterflies and all of that good stuff. So these are important. Singles, take the time to know yourself. Take the time to spend with yourself and ask these questions. Spend time with God and ask God these questions, because this would help you filter out most of the people that are around you seeking for your hand in marriage. It's going to help you filter out most of those people and, make your circle smaller and make the choice a lot easier for you. Okay, so that's the one thing you have to do before you get married. The second thing you have to do is this. You need to be attractive to the kind of person that you are trying to attract. Let me explain that. I'm not talking about physical look here. Let me explain that. For example, I hear people say, if you ask anybody what kind of a person you want to get married, the first thing, they have to be God-fearing, they have to be handsome or beautiful, they have to know how to do this, they have to make me laugh. Now the thing is this, let's start with the one that is so common, which is like, it has to be God-fearing. Now when you think about God-fearing, you need to ask yourself, the God-fearing person you're looking for, when this person comes, this God-fearing person, is that God-fearing person going to be attracted to you? And what I mean, as a God-fearing person, someone who is not just a God-fearing person with words alone, but in lifestyle. If this person who is truly God-fearing, if this person sees you, are you their ideal person to get married to? That's the thing. Because a God-fearing person has a certain mindset about the kind of person they want to get married to. So you need to ask yourself, am I this God-fearing person I want to marry? When they're also asking God for a God-fearing person, will God recommend me? When God looks at my life, will God recommend me to this wonderful son or daughter of his and say, I have this other God-fearing person and it'll be good for you all to get together? If God is going to look at your life and not recommend you to this person, stop praying for a God-fearing person if you are not a God-fearing person. Some people are, this happens especially with men who are just looking for a God-fearing woman because she's not going to cheat on you. She'll be praying for you, I hear this all the time, and there's a saying, it says, don't let anybody replace you at the feet of Jesus. Why can't you have your own relationship with God? Why are you waiting for a God-fearing person who is going to be your intercessor? Jesus is interceding in heaven for all of us. Of course, I'm going to intercede for you, but it does not mean that you're going to outsource your spiritual walk with God to me. You can't do that. You must have your own relationship and your intimacy with God. And I'm not talking about going to church and all of that. Let's not digress so much. But what I'm saying is this: the kind of person you're looking for, you better be attractive to that person. That's what I'm saying. Don't look for a God-fearing man or woman when you're out partying all day, cursing, doing drugs, smoking, doing all kind of nasty things, and then you're there looking for a God-fearing person. Which good father will present his his good child to someone who's going to destroy them with their own lifestyle? So be attractive. Be the kind of person that who you're looking for is looking for, if that makes any good sense. I know it does. Okay, now that's the second thing. The third thing is you have to be your authentic self. And I know I kind of moved into that mildly in the first part. You have to be your authentic self. And that does not mean, see, nowadays, when I hear people say my authentic self, it means their custom-made self. I see a man who have now become a woman says, oh, I have to be my authentic self. So this is my authentic self now that I've converted from being a man to a woman. Your authentic self is the person that God made in the beginning, not your custom-made self. Your authentic self is the person that God had designed from the beginning. That is your authentic self. Your authentic self is not the person who was dark-skinned before and now had to do some miracles and some bleach and suddenly became light-skinned and you say, this is my authentic self. Your authentic self is not the person who was once a man and now turned into a woman or vice versa and say, oh, now this is my authentic self. Your authentic self is the person that God created, that God designed, that God had a purpose and a plan for in the body that he gave you. That's your authentic self. Your authentic self is the person that have come into terms with who God has made them, and they have discovered their purpose. They have discovered why they are, who they are, where they are now, where they are going. That is your authentic self, that you are aware of your flaws, you're aware of your perfections, you're aware of your highs and your lows, and you are constantly working to evolve, not to change yourself to something else, but to become a better version, to work on yourself to become a better version of who you are. That is your authentic self, who God made you to be. So you have to become this person so that when you get married, you don't become a chameleon who keeps changing color, keeps changing character, keeps changing behavior. Nothing about you is certain. Everything about you is such a surprise and so unpredictable. See, I see people who get married and things just, today they're this person because that's who my husband wants me to be or my wife wants me to be. Tomorrow they get a breast implant because my husband thinks it has to be big. Tomorrow they get butt implant. Next tomorrow, my husband prefers me to go back to a smaller bust cup, and they just keep changing their characters. Nothing about them is consistent. They are so unpredictable. That's because they are not formed into their personality yet. I don't mean formed in a way that you're untransformable by God. I mean formed in a way that you are certain of who you are in God. That's what I'm talking about. You are certain of your personality in God. That nothing can shift you, nothing can move you, nothing can make you flip or change who you are just to fit into another person's ideology of who you should be. So understand, find your authentic self. Now, I promise you, being single is one of the best things that can happen to you. Most people don't really believe this. They'll say, oh, because you're married, so you think you don't want us to get married. Honey, you better hold on. Being single is the best times of your life. I promise you that. Because now you can look for what some people who are married have lost. You can look for what people who are married don't even have the time to look for. They know it's there, but they don't have the time to look for it because now they're so preoccupied with other activities in their life, marriage, children, school, and all of that stuff. So when you're single now, ensure that you find your authentic self. Become that person. When you become that person, that right authentic self of yours will attract that right person that God made for this authentic self of yours. God did not create you. Listen, let me kind of put this way. God did not create you for you to become a fake, for you to become an imitation of something else. God created you to be original. And when God created you as an original, let me give you a funny example. God created a dark skinned, caramel looking, brown skinned girl with all the melanin popping. God created you that way, made you the right bust size, the right boobs, the right everything. But everything was just perfect about you. And God said, this person, this is the man that is going to marry her. This is going to be the man's spec. So the man who God has prepared for you, his specs is a girl that looks like you, talks like you, walks like you. Everything about you is that guy's spec. And that guy is out there. And now you come up here, you now deviate from your authentic self. I'm talking about physically now. You now go change your skin color. You go add to your boob, or, you add to your butt. You do different things. And now when this guy walks past you, he can't even see you anymore. And you like the guy, but the guy is like, I don't know, this is not my specs. This is not my spec. You know what I'm talking about? So now that person is going to walk past you. Although God designed you for him, but now you've altered yourself so much he walks past you, he can't even see you anymore. Yeah. So enjoy being who you are. Just be who you are. God didn't create another man to come and marry a fake. God didn't create another woman to come and marry a fake or an imitation property, or an imitation product, so to speak. God created somebody else because God loves them as much as he loves you, honey, So God created them so that they could come and meet with another authentic person that he created for them. So be yourself. Enjoy being who you are. Forget all these social media things you're seeing, doing all the, forget all those things. Most of them are fake, to be honest with you. Enjoy being yourself. If you see these people out of cameras and out of filters, honey, you will realize that you are even more beautiful than these people you see out there. It's just that they have the fame and they have the money and they can do whatever they want. That's it. But in real life, they can put both of you together in a place where nobody knows either, when nobody knows them, and you realize that you'll be preferred than them. So stop molding your life after celebrities. Stop molding your life after people that you never get to see in your lifetime. And you just buy into their lies and then you try to be like them. Be who God has called you to be. If you don't know your authentic self, it's time to look at the manual that came with you when God created you. You are God's product. He created you and he put a manual that you need to use to see how your life should function. It's called the Bible. You don't have time to look at the Bible, honey. You have to create the time. If you want to know what you need to be and what you need to look like, look at the Bible because it says everything about you. Be your authentic self. Okay, let's move ahead. Now, another thing that you have to know, let me see. I don't like making long videos. I don't want this to be so long. Another thing you have to know before you get married is you have to learn to serve. Learn to serve. In this world, everyone is trying to get married for all the wrong reasons. They're trying to get married so that I can be taken care of, so that my husband or my wife can make me laugh, so I can be catered to, cooked for, and I just want to live the life, get married, go on vacations here and there. The only way to make marriage work is if you learn how to become a server. How to serve someone. If you're a self-centered person, a selfish person who always wants someone to do everything for you, then you are not ready for marriage, because marriage is not 50-50. I promise you, whoever brought that ideology that marriage is 50-50 is a big lie. Sometimes marriage is 70-30. Sometimes, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 100-100. But there are some times where the other person is not up to it, where the other person is not delivering. Listen, when you are married, you're married. And that's like my fifth point. I don't want to go into it now. But what I'm saying is this: before you get married, you need to work on your serving ability. How good of a server are you? How ready are you to make someone happy? You ever been to a restaurant, the server, they come, they keep checking on you, oh, you need something else, you need any water, oh, you need more ice, and even when you complain, oh, I don't like this food, they're asking, oh, how can I make it better? You want me to get something else for you? That's serving, and then you tip them for good service. Well, marriage is like that. Those people don't know you, and all they care about is their $5, $20 tip they're going to get from you. Marriage has much more weight and much more value. When you get into marriage, be ready to serve your spouse. As a matter of fact, there has to be a serving competition. Who's going to serve more? Who is going to love more? That's what it's about. That's the only way to thrive, for your marriage to thrive in this society where marriage has become so, they've taken the sacredness out of marriage and make it become so casual that people just walk in and walk out. There's no commitment, nothing at all. Learn to serve. It is in service that you can bring the best out of somebody else. It is in service that you can get the goodness. You can draw out virtue from your husband or from your wife. So learn to serve. Don't be selfish when you get married. Learn to share. Learn to serve. Be humble. It's going to go a long way, because listen, the ride of marriage is a long ride. So the earlier you learn how to enjoy, how to find peace when you get married, the better for you. Now, the last point, and I'm going to let you go, is this. Before you get married, ensure that you don't have the ideology of the secular world about marriage. Meaning, take divorce out of your head before you get married. Don't go into marriage with the mindset of, well, if it doesn't work out well, we'll call it, we'll just walk out. Most people, before they get married, they've already decided that if it doesn't work out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, So they go into marriage like a contract. You sign this contract, and, if you breach the contract, that's going to be it. And so you see people who claim to be in love, and then something little happens, and they just get divorced. And it's like the first option that they have before even trying. Let me tell you, I know we live in a free country, a free world where we can do whatever we want, but the easiness of divorce makes it difficult for people to actually sit down and work things out. So the things that they could have worked out on a good day, because they have that option of divorce, is so available, is so easily available. The things that should not destroy the marriage suddenly destroys the marriage. You hear people say things like what's the word? Irreconcilable differences. Nothing is irreconcilable unless you don't want it to be reconciled. The only thing that makes two people not be able to come together and work together is because both of them don't want to. Not because it is impossible, it's just because they don't want to. They've made up their mind already. Even the next one they're going to go into, before they go into, they've already planned what's going to happen when I get divorced. I'm going to move to this person's house now when we get married. When I get divorced, I have to start making plans so that, in case something happens, I know I have this option. Listen, marriage is a covenant. I know most people don't know that. It is a covenant, and it's a covenant that involves you, the person, and if you're a Christian, you included God in that covenant. So you can't just take it lightly. So before you get married, take your time. Take your time to look into this person. Of course, you never know a person 100%, but can you do your due diligence? You need spiritual intelligence. You need physical intelligence. You need all manner of intelligence to come together in order for you to see if this person is the right person for you. So that when you get married, you don't find yourself in a situation where you have to get out. And let me talk to my ladies. Listen, you know what? Everybody in general, there is always a red flag. Listen, God is so good. God always gives you warning. There is something that you always see. I can't think of anyone that we have counseled, that my husband and I have counseled, that when we ask, did you see this thing before? That they will say, oh no, it just popped up when we got married. For example, the guy is beating his wife. Did he used to beat you when you were dating? Well, when we were dating, he only pushed me once, or he was punching the wall. He punches the wall when he's angry. Well, when there's no wall to punch, he's gonna punch you. So there are always signs. For example, a guy is dating a lady, and you see signs of infidelity. You know that she's not faithful to you in dating, and you go ahead and marry her thinking that she's going to change because she's married. Listen, there are always signs, but sometimes we already decide, and so even though we see the signs, we just assume that the person will change once we marry them. So do your due diligence. Don't just marry. If you see a red flag, talk to someone. Don't just rush into marriage. Marriage does not change anybody. Marriage is an amplifier. Whatever the person was hiding will be exposed, because now the Bible says Adam and Eve were naked and they were not ashamed. Whatever the man was or woman was when you guys were dating and they were hiding it, when you get married, honey boo boo, you all have seen each other's nakedness. There's nothing to hide. They become who they are. Whatever it is that they are, they just let it be. They are in their house, in their privacy, and you're going to have to deal with it. Now, the last thing, I know I said 5, but I have to say this one because this one we have experienced it over and over again with young people who get married. Before you get married, get counseling. Don't just go marry someone and then just come and tell your pastor or your parents, oh, we just got engaged, and your parents never met them, your pastor never met them, you just went out of the blues. Anyone who is afraid to meet your pastor, to meet your parents, anyone who discourages you from doing these things, I guarantee you that marriage is not going to last. Now, this is a true story. We had someone that happened to, who was a church member, and she wanted to get married. Well, we just didn't even know she was dating. Out of the blues, we just saw that she got married, and and we were like, so when did you marry this person? When we know this person, well, we didn't know anything was going on, and just boom, you're married. And then when they got married, in a couple of months, things started going on, and they started calling for us to settle matters. And now they're divorced. The marriage didn't last 3 years. So what I'm saying is, any man or any woman who is going to stop you, who will not want to see your pastor, wouldn't want you to see his pastor, their parents, or anyone important in their life, I guarantee you that marriage is not going to last. You're about to jump into a pot of hot water that might as well get dry, and then you're going to jump into fire. So ensure that you talk to your pastor, you talk to your parents, you go for long-term counseling. Go for counseling. And if your counselor, your pastor, or your parents are wise enough to tell you, look, can you slow down? Can you wait? Or they might even just frankly tell you, I don't think this is the right person. Don't just rush. I know they're not always right, but including, that's why I mentioned spiritual intelligence. You also have to pray about it. And don't pray with a made-up mind. Don't come with a picture and say, oh God, show me who my wife is. And this is the only picture you have, expecting that God has to say that this is the person, the wife or the man or the woman, So, because at the end of the day, you don't want to get divorced. You don't want to be abused. You don't want to be praying and crying, oh God, change my spouse. I used to be enjoying your life and praying for the kingdom advancement. What are you guys going to do together? What's your next project? You're busy praying for God to change a man or change a woman. Or Lord, save me from this abuse. Or who can I call? Who can I talk to? You are single now. The ball is in your court. The power is in your hands. It's just you now. There are no kids involved. Do the right thing. Do right by yourself. Do right by your future and your destiny. And marry properly. Marry right. Ensure that you are marrying who God designed for you to marry from the beginning, so that you don't end up having problems. Am I saying that kingdom marriages don't have difficulties? Yes, we have difficulties, but we have the Holy Spirit to guide us. And because we are coupled with the right person, both of us are children of God. We hear God, we submit, we are sold out to Christ. It is easy for Jesus to instruct us, counsel us, and tell us what to do. And all we have to do is, yes, Lord, I'll do your bidding. So marry right, because it goes a long way in determining the rest of your life. Okay, I hope this video helps somebody. Feel free to post comments or questions, and I will see you guys next week.